Welcome, Hornets, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to be going over the AP Calculus AB, Fundamental Theorem of Calculus number 1, and we're using our worksheet from Classwork number 2 for the second term in order to do this. We'll be working with the even problems as the odd problems are being graded. So thank you very much, and let's go ahead and begin. So we're currently looking at the worksheet. For those of you who are not students of mine, you may want to take a screenshot to at least get numbers 2 through 10, and let me give you a moment to do that. Alrighty, let's go ahead and begin. We are working with the fundamental theorem of calculus. Let me zoom in on this real quick. Oh, the wrong way. There we go. And the way we're going to work with this is each term is being used with either the general power rule or the specific rule that we have learned from section 5.1 and the quick quiz that you've already been given. Alrighty, so we're looking at a power of 3. We're going to add 1. This is giving us 1/4 x to the power of 4. Notice we're doing exactly the same thing that we did when we had the indefinite integration. We're just going through and following all the way down. And we have from 3 to 7. So we're now going to plug in 7 into this. Now I'm going to use my calculator. That's because I have higher powers. If I wanted to give you a quizzle or something that required you with a no calculator, we'd be doing things that were a lot simpler. Okay? So we're looking at 1 divided by 4 times the power of, 7 to the power of 4, excuse me. And then we're going to subtract. Now you'll notice I'm going to simplify that to 5, then times 7 to the power of 3 minus, excuse me, that's a plus. And I have 36 when I simplify that, and this is times 7 to the power of 2 minus 109 times 7 to the power of, let me correct that. My calculator, I forgot to hit the arrow. There we go. 7 squared. Now minus 109 times 7. Now we're going to have to go back and do the exact same thing, but we're going to plug in 3. So when I hit enter, I am looking at getting negative 113.75, and I'm now going to subtract. I'm repeating the process, but I'm plugging in a 3 now. So wherever I had a 7, I'm putting in a 3, and then hitting enter. And I'm now getting negative 117.75. So what I'm going to do now is just subtract the two values from each other. Whoops, let's try that again. Enter times negative 1. And I'm just going to subtract that 113.75. And I end up getting a nice number, 4. So my answer is 4. We're now going to go to number 4. We're going to follow the same pattern. That means that it's negative 1/4 x to the 4th plus 1/3 x cubed minus x from negative 1 up to 1. So we're now plugging in 1. This is giving me a negative 1/4 plus 1/3 minus 1 whole. Then subtracting. Now we're plugging in the negative 1. That's going to give me negative 1/4. Double negative is now minus 1/3 plus 1. And I'm going to put this into my calculator. So negative 1 divided by 4 plus 1 divided by 3 minus 1. Then I'm subtracting. negative 1 divided by 4, minus 1 divided by 3, and then plus 1. Hit enter in my calculator, and I am getting negative 4/3. Now we can check our answer to see if we're getting this right. I've gone over this with my students, but if you haven't done it yet, you may want to just practice using your calculator and plugging it in to see what you get. There are a couple of ways you can do this. The easiest is to just hit Math 9, go from 3 up to 7, and then put in your x math cubed minus 15x squared plus 72x minus 109. Then don't forget to hit dx and hit enter. You'll notice you get the same value, and that's option 1. Option 2 is to put it into the y equals so that you have x math cubed. And you notice I'm going to put this into my calculator this way, and just putting in the exact same thing, negative 15x squared plus 72x minus 109. And then when I go back to the home screen, I'm going to hit Math 9 from 3 to 7. You can't see that very easily, 3 to 7. And then I'm going to put alpha trace, y1 now goes in, dx, and I get the same thing. All right, so you've got a few choices to check. Now, notice number 6. Number 6 is now dealing with x to the minus 1 power. We know that this is going to have to be one of our special rules. That rule is the natural log of the absolute value of x, and this is once again from 1 to 2. So I have the natural log of the absolute value of 2 minus the natural log of the absolute value of 1, and that's the natural value of 2 minus 0, and that's my answer. Now this is the exact value. To find an approximation, use your calculator, hit natural log of 2, enter, and you will get an approximate value, in which case go to the third decimal place, as this is AP Calculus AB. Number 8. Number 8 is now using my rule for e to the x. So we're bringing out our 3. Notice I have e to the x from negative 1 to 0 dx. This is 3 e to the x from negative 1 to 0. That gives me 3 e to the 0 power minus 3 e to the negative 1, and that's 3 minus 3 over e. So if you wish to simplify it, it's 3e minus 3, or it's 3 times e minus 1, and this is all over e. Now you can find that decimal following the same pattern that we've already seen. Number 10. So we're now doing the general power rule again. This is going to give me 1/3. Notice I end up with negative x cubed over 6 plus, and I'm going to simplify it to 2x squared minus 9x from 3 to 6. We're now following the same pattern. We have negative 6 to the power of 3. And I'm not putting parentheses around that negative so that I have my order of operations. And then I'm just going to make sure that I divide by 6. I'm then going to add plus 2x, and that's now 3 times, so 2 times 6 squared minus 9 times 6. And let's just make sure that I go times. So I'm double checking, make sure that I have what I want. I get negative 18. I'm now going to subtract following the same pattern, but instead of a 6, I now plug in a 3. We'll see what we get. Hit enter, and I'm looking at negative 13.5. So now I have negative 18 minus negative 13.5, and I end up with an answer that is negative 4.5. Once again, check your answer. I always like to do that, but it's up to you. Next, we're looking at number 12. Once again, we see that x to the negative 1. This is therefore 3 natural log, and I'm looking at the absolute value of x. Please remember to put that absolute value. If you don't, you're going to get it wrong. I mean, look at the values we're using. That's going to be a problem, right? We can't take the natural log of a negative number. So I now have negative 3. I have positive 3, talking about negatives so much, natural log of 2 minus, and I have 3 natural log of 5. We're now going to put that into our calculator. If you wish, you can kind of rearrange things. After all, it is natural log of 8 minus natural log of 125. The minus creates a division, etc., etc. It's up to you how you wish to do this. Once again, this is the exact value, and it can be manipulated. That's always the funnest part about the math, is that there are lots of ways to represent it, and as an approximate value, it's negative 2.74, and I'm just going to go 88. Once again, that is an approximate value. Okay? And that is our classwork. Evens, once again, the odds are for you to do on your own, and those are the ones that are being graded. Thank you very much. I hope this helps. And please remember to click like if you feel that this was helpful. Thank you. Be well, take care, and remember it's easy to be mean. So please work harder and be nice to each other. Change starts from within, and if we hope to change our world, we have to start with ourselves. Thank you. Be well, and good night. Bye-bye.